This time, will the Committee of the Whole please come to order? We will first hear from those who have requested to speak before the committee today. And we have two speakers, Garrick Wilhelm and Edmund Hakobian. Each speaker will have 3 minutes for public comment before this committee.
Thank you, Chairman Day. My name is Garrick Wilhelm, speaking on behalf of students at San Francisco State University. Today is a highly anticipated and exciting day as we look forward to moving into the next chapter of the greatest university and the best system of higher education in the world. While the relationship students have had with President Wong was difficult at times, I want to recognize his 7 years of service to our campus community. University presidents often become a lightning rod for the wrath of students fighting against injustice. At San Francisco State, we have a storied 50-plus year history of conflict with administration. It has become a legacy that students proudly relate to. President Wong has weathered this conflict with his calm and quiet manner intact, and I'm sure it will make the enjoyment of his retirement even more sweet. We hope that whoever replaces him, Lynn Mahoney, looks forward to harnessing the energy of an activist campus community to empower students to change the world we live in. Students sometimes expect a university president to have the power to solve all their problems. This year, we talked to President Wong about the disparity of wages on our campus for student employment. San Francisco State, like many other campuses, face the California state minimum wage, regardless of the comparable jobs off campus that pay a higher municipal minimum wage. At San Francisco State, many students are paid $12 an hour, compared to Starbucks immediately off campus, starting employees at $15.75 an hour. President Wong's response was that we would need an additional $2 to $3 million of budget funding to raise student wages to San Francisco minimum wage. It was clear nothing was going to change unless we changed it. We found support in our academic senate who voted to raise wages for students working in academic departments. We found our own way to influence wages by only approving instructional-related activity funding for student workers who were paid the local minimum wage. And through our oversight of campus recreation, we were able to get wage increases of $3 an hour for over 200 student employees. Unfortunately, many work-study and other student positions remain well below the wages students can get only feet from campus, taking away their chance to be engaged on campus and to benefit from the campus life as they work 3 and 4 jobs to afford a college education. We give our best wishes and thanks to President Wong as he leaves San Francisco State. He leaves a legacy of philanthropy and new projects that will leave a lasting impact on our campus. We anticipate Lynn Mahoney's new leadership for the most progressive university in the nation and hope that together, San Francisco State will continue to change the way we think about the world and our education.
Hello, my name is Edmund Hakobian, and I'm here to share my personal opinion. It's been almost a year that I've been coming here sharing the concerns of our campus with you guys, and you have done nothing. I've seen people come here, talk about their issues, and you just sit there and do nothing. Your decisions are disastrous, and I feel like the name Board of Trustees doesn't fit to this board. It should be changed to the Board of Disastrous Decisions. Mr. Day, you made a statement yesterday that you respect my right to free speech, but that's not the case. I made you respect my right to free speech and my right to criticize the board when you and your general counsel tried to block me from speaking, and I had to read the governor's code and send you the code. And I'm so glad that the legislatures have those type of legislation and laws in the books so people like me can hold people like you accountable and this board. You cannot prevent students and people from coming here and talking. You guys are so proud of what you do and you constantly pat each other in the back. Come on, everyone is complaining about the education system. You have continuously increased the fees on students. No one likes you. Everyone is doubting the government institutions, and that's not because of these institutions are not beneficial to the society, because you have failed collectively to address these problems, systemic problems. You don't even come to our campus. You clapped for Covino and Chancellor White yesterday. I dare you, have this meeting, the next one at Cal State LA. Invite students, make announcements, right? And see how many people will show up and how many people will criticize your decisions. You are hiding behind your email addresses, and you are not even sharing those email addresses. People cannot send you agenda items and ask them to put it on your agenda so they can come and talk about it. That's how you operate. I've been very patient with you guys, and after what I saw yesterday, and I want to thank you for that comment and everyone who clapped for it, you made the case that you are the problem. Your denial is the problem. Thank you. And I'm sorry. And I'm going to work with my friends that are going to be the future of this state. We are going to be here long after you're gone. We're going to be here, and we're going to change this system. Thank you.
Okay, it's now time for the committee to consider today's consent agenda. Are there any objections to the approval of the consent agenda, which consists of our minutes? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. We have a number of action items on our agenda today to recognize our colleagues for their many contributions to this great institution. And our first item is the conferral of a commendation to alumni trustee John Nylon. Unfortunately, Trustee Nylon is unable to join us today. On behalf of our trustee colleagues, past and present on this board, and certainly on behalf of the students, faculty, staff, presidents, and alumni, I would like to extend our appreciation to Trustee Nylon for his commitment and service, not only to this board, but also to his alma mater, CSU Bakersfield. This is an action item before the board, so may I have a motion? I have a motion. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. 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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? The conferral of a commendation for Trustee John Nylon is approved. Our next item is the conferral of the title of Our next item is the conferral of the title of Student Trustee Emerita to Emily Hinton. Emily, on behalf of our trustee colleagues and again on behalf of the students, faculty, staff, presidents, and alumni, I would like to thank you for all that you have done to provide an important student voice on critical matters for empowering student success and furthering the mission and vision of the California State University system. Thank you for your steadfast advocacy on our students' behalf and for your deep and thoughtful insights regarding how we might meet the many challenges and varied needs of the university. We know that your work is not nearly finished and that in whatever role your future holds, you will remain a champion and exemplar of the core values of what makes the CSU extraordinary. Thank you, Emily, again, and please join the Chancellor and me at the podium.
So Emily, let me also add my voice of thanks to and appreciation for your leadership, your insights, and the commitment that you've brought to the Board of Trustees as the student trustee. You've represented your constituents well during your term, and I'm sure that we've all learned from you as you've learned from us. I'm in admiration not only of your work on this board, but also your many achievements, both in leadership and academically at Sonoma State, where you served as president and chief executive of the Associated Students, among many other campus and community commitments. Of course, this is just the next beginning for you. I look forward to your future accomplishments. And again, thank you for your service to the California State University. We have a nice conferral of Student Trustee Emerita here that finishes with starts with a whole bunch of whereases, but finishes that resolved by the Board of Trustees of the California State University that this board confers the title of Student Trustee Emerita on Emily F. Hinton with all the rights and privileges thereto. Would you share some remarks and then we'll take some pictures?
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all so much. It has been such an honor and privilege to work with each and every one of you the past 2 years. I know I don't often express it much, but I'm so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you, and I have learned so very much, not only the type of leader that I hope to be in the future, but the person that I have grown into in this position, the personal self-reflection I've been able to do. I am so thankful for each and every one of you. I also would like to announce that I'm going to come back as the alumni trustee. So I'm kidding. Don't worry, you're done with me, I promise. But honestly, thank you all for letting me raise hell sometimes. I fought hard for students, and that's part of the role as the student trustee. But I think it is just what an incredible opportunity it is to be able to raise hell, to be able to try certain strategies and see how it goes. And sometimes it went well and sometimes it didn't. And I learned from that. And like President Virgie said yesterday, sometimes you have to be disruptive. And I was able to do that at times and it was successful. And other times I learned from it. And I figured out what I wanted to take forward with me in my leadership and what was meant to be left behind. So I'm grateful for you all to allow me the space to learn from each and every one of you. And some of you had the opportunity to hear my graduation speech. It was emailed to you all. And I left the students with some reminders of some remarks that I wanted them to take forward with them. And as I move forward now into my future, I have some things that I wanted to leave behind with you all. So it's a similar structure of my graduation speech that I'm going to follow. So I want you to remember that 1 in 10 CSU students face homelessness and 2 in 5 students face food insecurity. Remember that the cost of our education is not only in the price of tuition. Remember that our financial aid system is a broken system right now, not benefiting all of our students, and it needs your help. Remember that although the CSU is one of the most diverse and accessible systems of higher education in the nation, there is always room to do better. Remember to always listen to our public speakers because although they may not have the knowledge of the system that we do and sometimes don't fully understand the processes that affect them, their experiences are valid and worth our respect. Remember to keep tuition low. I'll say that one again. Remember to keep tuition low. That one's important, and I'll be watching the live stream to make sure you all follow that one. Remember not to accept the status of good simply because you fear the process that might create the better. Remember to always ask for what you need. The worst that can happen is that you're told no, but if you never ask in the first place, you might miss out on the opportunity to begin with. Remember to always give recognition where credit is due, but don't be afraid of accountability and critical thinking. Remember the real impact of the decisions you make here have on the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. Remember to never drink out of plastic water bottles. And remember that audit committee can be fun sometimes for some of us. Remember to always personalize the reality of the decisions you make here. Remember the lives you are here to impact. And when you're faced with difficult decisions, remember the students working 3 jobs to afford their education. Remember the single mothers striving to obtain their degree. Remember the undocumented students who may not qualify for financial aid. Remember the students with disabilities who may have to work a little harder than their peers. Remember the LGBTQIA students fighting for social and political acceptance in our community. Remember our Black, Latina, Latino, and other minority students advocating for their right to safety and equal opportunity. Remember the loans we take, the things we go without, the long nights we spend, and that every extra year a student spends here is an additional financial burden. Remember that your purpose here is to open avenues of opportunity that students may never have even known were there. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been an experience of a lifetime.
Well spoken, as always. I guess I'm just going to stay up here. We've got a couple more. But before Emily gets too comfortable, the conferral of the title of Student Trustee Emerita to Emily Hinton is an action item before the board. So may I have a motion? And we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The action item is approved. And congratulations again, Emily, and thank you for your service. Our next item is the conferral of the title of President Emerita to Lisa A. Rossbacher. Lisa, on behalf of the trustees and your presidential colleagues, thank you for your dedication and leadership, both at Humboldt State University and throughout the California State University. The comprehensive transformation of the campus under your leadership will leave an enduring legacy of your visionary leadership and wholehearted dedication to student success. Thank you again for the many years of service to our students, faculty, staff, and alumni. And if you could, please join Chancellor and me at the podium.
So Lisa, let me add my voice of thanks, both personally and professionally, for your leadership at Humboldt. You've led with integrity. You've always had the university's mission at heart, and you've had the courage to make and to stand by some very difficult decisions, but done so with care and with conviction. You've worked very hard to put Humboldt State on a solid financial footing while remaining dedicated to student success and Humboldt's globally minded educational vision. I want to thank you and your family for their contributions to the CSU again, but this time as president, and for all the best for you in the next chapter of your life, and ask if you would mind sharing some comments. We will be conferring the title of President Emerita on you, resolved by the Board of Trustees of the California State University, that on this day, this board confers the title of President Emerita on Lisa A. Rossbacher with all the rights and privileges thereto, signed by the chair and myself. Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you very much. When I began my career 35 years ago, it was in higher education. It was in the California State University system as an assistant professor at Cal Poly Pomona. Ronald Reagan was president, and Ann Reynolds was chancellor. I've always been impressed by the mission of the California State University and by the power that the public higher education system, this one in California, the transformative power to change students' lives. I've been honored to work with the Humboldt State University campus community, the larger communities that the university serves, and with all of you in the California State University system. I want to thank you for what you do every day to invest in the students of California and in the future of our state. And I know that you will continue this good work. Thank you all.
And again, the conferral of the title President Emerita to Lisa A. Rossbacher is an action item before the board. May I have a motion? May I have a second? Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The action item is approved, and congratulations again, Lisa, for your dedication and service. Our next item is the conferral of the title President Emeritus to Leslie E. Wong. Les, I know I can speak for all my fellow trustees in expressing our tremendous gratitude for your service, commitment, and leadership, both at San Francisco State and across our system. SFSU has thrived under your leadership, standing as a beacon for academic excellence, student and alumni success, and consequential services to a dynamically diverse and critically important region of our state. Thank you again for your hard work and many years of service to our students, faculty, staff, and alumni. And if you too would please join the Chancellor and me at the podium.
Les, since you assumed the leadership of San Francisco State in 2012, the university has been revitalized in a number of important areas. New buildings have been constructed for the first time in 25 years. Philanthropic support has increased, including 2 of the largest gifts in the university's history. The athletics program has enjoyed a resurgence, and alumni relations have been strengthened locally, nationally, and internationally. Les, I know during your tenure you've spoken about wanting to give San Francisco State its swagger back, and despite the misbehavior of Fullerton yesterday, it's exactly what you have done. So now we have swagger in the north and swagger in the south. But on behalf of everyone here, I thank you for your service to San Francisco State and to the California State University. It's a pleasure to provide to you this conferral of title, President Emeritus, a whole bunch of whereases with the resolution at the end on this day by the Board of Trustees of the California State University that the board confers the title of President Emeritus on Les E. Wong with all the rights and privileges thereto. Would you share some thoughts with us, please?
I've always asked people around me to own their own mind, and I have tried to own mine throughout my whole career. And at times, I'm not as silent as I probably should be, but the search for truth and modeling for our students and my colleagues has always been important to me. I have to thank my wife, Phyllis. I have to tell you that on Sunday, we celebrated 47 years together. And actually, it's a little bit misleading because I actually met her when we were 16 at Bishop O'Dowd High School in Oakland, and we have stayed together since. I also wanted to thank the late Charlie Reed. In 2011, Charlie called me when I was in Michigan and told me that he had found out that I was from the Bay Area, and he wanted to know if I wanted to come home. I left out the adjectives that he inserted into the phone call. They're memorable. My wife told me not to repeat them. But it's incredible to have worked for him, to have worked for Tim and the leadership team here at the Chancellor's office. It's been really special, as it is to work with 23 incredibly exciting presidents. In addition to the others that have retired since I came in 2012. You are a very special group, and as good people always, you'll never get the true valor and attention that you deserve and have earned. But you're number one in my book. I also want to give special thanks to Alicia Claudio and Allison Sanders, my Chief of Staff, Deputy Chief of Staff. They're over here. Quality people. And sitting with them is Venetia Thompson, who represents my cabinet, also very special people, because to be effective, you need to attract talent and you need to keep it around you and you need to protect it. And I hope that they have felt that sense of togetherness with me. I also want to thank the labor leaders that are on campus. I want to thank the leadership of the labor groups that are here in the room. You can't be effective unless you earn the respect of everyone who works on the campus. That was my father's prime rule to me, and I have always respected the work of everybody from CSUEU to the CFA, to the students, et cetera, and I want to thank them for their work. It's really been an honor to serve the campus, to serve the community, and you know, there's a very simple phrase in my life, having come from the tough streets of East Oakland, is that each job you take, you have to leave it in better shape than when you first got it. And when I look at San Francisco, my staff, they're going to laugh, 2 cranes at the same time building the future for San Francisco State University. I believe the university is in a better place. It's a point of pride for me, and I will never forget that. Thank you all.
Thank you, Les. And again, the conferral of the title President Emeritus to Leslie E. Wong is an action item before the board. May I have a motion? May I have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The action item is approved. And again, congratulations, Les, and thank you for your service. And our final item is the conferral of the title President Emerita to Karen S. Haynes. Karen, I know I speak for all my fellow trustees in expressing our tremendous gratitude for your steadfast service, compassionate commitment, and visionary leadership at CSU San Marcos, qualities that you've brought to bear for the benefit of the entire CSU system. You truly leave an indelible mark on all of us, one that we are the better for. Thank you again for your many years of service to our students, faculty, staff, and alumni. You too will be greatly missed. Will you please join the Chancellor and me at the podium?
Congratulations. So it's always difficult to say goodbye to a retiring president, but particularly challenging when it's our system's senior president and the first woman in the history of the California State University to have that distinction, as well as her long service at San Marcos. During your time, Karen, we use the word transformational, and sometimes it's almost used too many times and loses some of its meaning. But when you think about what that campus was, both in physical size and academic programs and importance to the community and to the state, when you took the helm to where it is now, I think this is an appropriate use of the word transformational. Population of students from 7,000 to 17,000. 100 new academic programs, 15 new facilities, as well as a satellite campus over in Temecula. Really a remarkable period of time in the emergence of that young campus. It's impossible to overstate the significance of your legacy, but I'm going to give you a few minutes to try with some comments. Before then, we have in front of us a conferral of the title of President Emerita, and a series of whereases and a resolution on today that by the Board of Trustees that this board confers the title of President Emerita on Karen S. Haynes with all of the rights and privileges thereto. Karen, would you share some thoughts?
What Tim didn't say was in 2004, when I began the presidency at Cal State San Marcos, the momentous announcement was there were now 4 women presidents, looking at Deb. So it is with extreme pleasure that I look out at my female colleague presidents and thank Tim for moving that needle so far in the last several years and to have Cal State University system now have a majority of its presidents female. So to my female presidential colleagues, I would say for me, having served in other systems before, the strength of this system is the strength of the 23 presidents and the collegiality and the support that we have. Many of us lived through years of sharing stories, leaning on each other, learning from each other. And I take all of that wisdom from you with me to whatever the next phase of my life will be. I also know that I arrived at Cal State San Marcos when it was a gangly teenager of 14 years. And now at 30 years, it has matured. I know there's much more ahead of it, but it has been an incredible journey to have led it through those teenage years into maturation. I have been fortunate that my life's work is my passion. I have been fortunate because I work in an area with all of you where mission has a high purpose and where the internal and external communities come together always for the greater good of the state of California and each of our regions. It has been a privilege, a pleasure, my passion, and I thank you all for allowing me to do this work for 15 and a half years. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Karen. Again, the conferral of the title President Emerita to Karen S. Haynes is an action item before the board. May I have a motion? May I have a second? Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The action item is approved. And Karen, again, thank you very much for your dedication. That concludes the business of the Committee of the Whole. We will now take a brief 5-minute recess before we go to the plenary.